Welcome back everyone, hope you're all doing well. In this video, I'll be teaching you how to use the Super Ballers, more specifically, the RC charge into Kill Squad Super Baller Smash. Now let's get into it. This is the army that I've cooked up. Now before I jump in, I just want to say that Super Ballers right now, I feel like they're pretty strong, they're decent, but for 30 space, I feel like they're glass cannon. They deal a significant amount of damage, but they don't have a lot of HP. With the composition that I've created, I feel like this is the most optimal one. I feel like the way I send the troops, because I'm going to show you guys later on during the planning, it's the most optimal way to use the bowlers. They're going to live as long as possible, they won't scatter too much, and they'll get a lot of value. And with that, I feel like they're very strong in this composition, and with the upcoming buffs to them, they're going to be extremely powerful and might be a meta attack. So that being said, I'm going to jump into the spells, into the troops, into the siege machine that I use, into the CC and the heroes. Let's jump with the troops. Now I have the age-old combo of the Yeti, the baby dragon, and the Valkyrie. Those will be used for funneling your troops or for your kill squad or to take down any types of trash buildings to help pathing. Your Yetis can help for any types of defenses like a mortar or something. The baby dragon can help for any trash buildings around, and the Valkyrie can also help to eliminate any trash buildings, but also to eliminate any types of pesky skeleton traps that can ruin or slow down your main push. That being said, I have two ice golems. One ice golem will be used for your kill squad with your queen only, not your king. I'm going to talk about it later on. And one ice golem will be sent with your main pack. Now I have two wall breakers, one to open either the compartment for your kill squad log launcher if needed, if you want to send your queen inside, or you can use both of them to open for your main push, because ballers, they don't do much damage on the walls, so you need as much destruction on walls as possible. Obviously, we got the start of the show, 3 super bowlers. Like I said, they deal a tremendous amount of damage, but they're quite frail. However, with this composition, they won't scatter around, meaning they'll get enough healing to survive throughout the attack. And with the upcoming buffs, they're just going to be more tanky and deal more damage. I have one Electro Titan just to deal with any types of CCs, or let's say the Minion Prince, or any types of air troops or defense that can really destroy the super bowlers, because they're not aerial, they just attack from the ground. So the Electro Titan, with the help of DRC, will be able to deal with either the Minion Prince or any types of dragons or rocket loons in the CC. To help boost the health for my super bowlers, I've decided to place an Apprentice Warden. It will keep my super bowlers alive for a very long time. Now I have 3 Coco Loons that will help to keep or to search for any air traps to save my healers, just in case there are any. Now the healers, obviously, it's to heal my main push. 3 Headhunters to deal for any types of enemy heroes. 3 Wizards for cleanup, because you actually need quite a lot of cleanup. And an Archer to help. They will be very crucial near the end. You want to save as much Wizards as possible for the cleanup, because super ballers, they're not very fast. They're very good at destroying the core, but when they're at the end where there's no defenses and you need to clean up, they feel a little bit slow. Now for the spells, obviously I have 5 invisibility spells and 1 recall for my RC charge. Then after I have 1 skeleton spell, you can either help your log launcher with the usage of the skeleton spell, or if you feel like there's no danger around, then you can use your skeleton spell for your main push. It will be most useful against the geared up defense, against the monolith, against scatter shots. It's a very good defense mitigate. It's a very good damage mitigation. I have 1 free spell to freeze any types of single inferno tower, a monolith that locked on any types of heroes, or my troop. You want to keep them alive as long as possible, so a free spell will help that. And I have a jump spell. The jump spell, obviously, going to help my super bowlers to enter the base quite fast without destroying any walls, because they don't deal much damage on walls. So that's just to really help them push in and to destroy the base at a very significantly fast pace. For the siege machine, because we're doing a kill squad, I'm going to use the log launcher. It's going to destroy some walls and certain buildings during its pathing, and with the help of the giant arrow with the queen, which I'm going to explain it later, it's going to create its own pathing, and once it breaks, hopefully not by any types of defenses that destroys it too early, the Yetis inside are going to destroy the buildings in the compartment they land in. Now for the CC, obviously I said Yetis. I have 3 Yetis in my CC and 1 goblin, and I have 1 rage spell to help rage the healing for my super bowlers, as well as to destroy the core as fast as possible. Trust me, you'll need it. And a poison spell for any types of defensive CC, or if there's none, you can use it for the enemy heroes. Now let's jump into our heroes. Because I want as much value as possible with my king, and because I want to open up the core or any compartments for my super bowlers to go in, I'm using the earthquake boot. I'm also using the spiky ball to deal more damage around to cripple those buildings. I paired him with the phoenix just to make sure that he revives and gets more value overall. The phoenix, during his invisibility, can also help to find any types of air traps, saving your healers potentially. For your queen, because I'm doing a kill squad, I like to pair it with a giant arrow to cripple walls walls and defenses so that my log launcher can destroy them with ease. I paired her with Sneezy because I want more damage around as possible with more protection for the queen. Let's say for any types of multi-archer towers or scatter shot, it's going to help mitigate damage. You can also pair the Sneezy with the Warden, but I feel like with the Warden, the Unicorn is mostly useful because the healers will mostly be focused on the Super Bowlers, and you want to keep your Warden as healthy as possible so that the healers don't shift on him for like an eternity while your bowlers for some reason gets targeted by scatter shot and die randomly. So I decided to pair Sneezy with the Queen, the Giant Arrow, and the action figure because the Giant is actually pretty useful for tanking unit. For the Warden, I decided to pair him with the Unicorn. That way he's going to be healed during the attack, and I've paired him with the Eternal Tome to keep my Super Bowlers alive, and the Healing Tome because since they're frail, then they need as much healing as possible, especially during the core. Now I've tried with the Rage Gem, it works like a charm, but I feel like in certain areas it could feel like inconsistent, and sometimes your bowler would just disappear without any trace and it feels like there wasn't enough healing. So for now, it's better to use the Healing Tome, and last but not least, the RC. Now because I'm doing an RC charge, I'm going to use the Spirit Fox, obviously, with the Electro Boots, and you can either switch between the Rocket Spear or the Haze Vial. Now, I like the Rocket Spear better. I only use the Haze Vial if the Town Hall is accessible for my RC charge and she can destroy it. But other than that, I keep the Rocket Spear just in case the Town Hall or certain defenses are isolated, like the Monolith, which could be dangerous if it's not taken out yet. So the Rocket Spear can just reach around from a very long distance and destroy it with ease. It also helps to keep the RC behind your bowlers so that she doesn't take the aggro and dies fast without getting enough value, because the RC is quite valuable. Now that being said, let's jump into planning. For the planning, it's going to be very simple. You want to start with your RC charge to take out a certain chunk of the base. Then after, with this funnel, you're going to send next to it your kill squad with the Queen and the log launcher. And then next to it, either on the RC charge side or the kill squad, you're going to send your main push. So how do you want to approach this? Now on this base, I'd say this area right here, I could send my RC down there. Hopefully you can destroy this building. And now after, you'll destroy this area with the RC. So with the invisibility spells, you're going to cycle your invisibility spell with your Spirit Fox invisibility cycle, and you're going to take as much defense as possible in this area. If you want to take out this area, it's going to be great. So send your RC maybe from down here, around there, not too close so that it targets this wizard tower. You want to target this wizard tower, that way it's going to fall there. And then after, it can continue doing its pathing and destroying this area, and this will be gone. Your RC will get good value. Now that being done, where do you want to send your kill squad? You want to send it either here or you want to send it either here. Personally, I think that sending right here is going to get much more value because one of the Inferno Tower, a single one, is isolated and could be very deadly for your Super Bowlers. So I'm going to say that my kill squad is going to be this area where I'm going to send it and destroy this single Inferno Tower. So we need to create a straight line if you want. The tunnel is right here, the middle, and after you want to see where you can path it. And honestly, right here on this pixel on the corner, it's going to create a nice pathing where it's going to help and destroy this multi-arch tower and this monolith. Those two targets are very important, especially the single Inferno, because it is isolated and your troop might have a hard time to reach it. So that is going to be your skill squad. You can send a nice golem right here for tanking. Then after, you can send a skeleton spell once, let's say, the log launcher arrives close to it. Nice skeleton spell right here. And your queen right behind, and hopefully you can send a nice giant arrow. Because there's no building around here, like on the corner, so you get like a good line. You can send it, your queen right here, and angle it so that she actually hits the single Inferno Tower, because that's going to be your main target. You don't have to hit all the town hall and those defenses and buildings. As long as you're able to hit this single Inferno Tower and potentially this multi-archer tower, then you're good. So angle it maybe right here. That way she shoots and hits the single Inferno Tower. It's going to help for your kill squad log launcher. After your kill squad, once they arrive, they're going to advance, destroy those walls. They're going to arrive in this area with the skeleton spell as well. Your Yetis might just open it and destroy the single Inferno, or they destroy it with the log, and then after, right here, they can actually go inside and destroy other buildings, which is going to be great. Now, this will be your kill squad. This will be the area that you're going to take down with your kill squad, and then after, it's going to be your main push. So where do you want to send your main push? Well, I said either here, next to your RC charge, or, which I like the most, next to your kill squad, because with the queen, you can always have a little bit more value with her, and if she's able to merge with your main pack, that's going to be great. If she ends up going on the side and doing some cleanup, that is fine. But if she goes with your main pack, that is also fine. I think that's value as well. So that's why that you want to send it next to your kill squad most of the time. Your main push right here with the super bowler is going to send everything. A nice golem first to see for any traps or any tanking. Then after you want to send all your super bowlers, you want to send your Empress Warden, some few Cocoloons, your Electric Titans, your Warden, your King, etc. Now they're all going to move here, and your goal is that they enter this compartment right there. And how do you do this? Well, you need to clean up those areas right there. So because there's an air defense right here, maybe you want to, instead of sending a baby dragon, you want to send a Yeti to clear off this building right there. You can send a baby dragon right there to clear off this gold mine, just in case, like when you send your king right there to path around some cleanups and join with the main pack, he doesn't get interested into this gold mine. So this will completely negate his interest to go on the outside and will stay in the inside, focus and joining with your main pack. Now for your wall breakers, it's going to be a little bit tricky because there's no buildings close to this compartment. As you can see, the fire speeder are quite far, and the closest ones are those two ricochet cannons. Now what I like to do is that I wait for one to fall down, and then after I send my two wall breakers at the same time or a little bit delayed, but as long as you send them quite fast that targets the same wall, then you're good, because one of them is going to destroy this wall and the other one's going to be like, I don't have anywhere to go. So this compartment open, I'm going to focus this other wall right here and it's going to open this wall. But you need this defense right here to be destroyed. If it's not destroyed, one of the wall breakers might say, this compartment has still a building inside, so let me open it. And now you'll be stuck to invest either your earthquake boots or a jump spell, which I do not recommend. I want you to use your jump spell more at the back or a little bit on front, and then invest your earthquake boots near the end. So very important, wait for one of the buildings to get destroyed while the king here is pathing around with some cleanups around so that he goes with your main pack. Make sure that this cannon dies, and then after you're going to send two wall breakers. Hopefully they're not targeted by the same ricochet cannon or you won't get good value. And then after, one's going to open this wall and the next wall so that your main pack will go and path inside. So that's very important. With the RC, that's going to help tremendously because there's also a single inferno right here. You can use a free spell if you want to negate any types of hard damage, but it's going to be important for your RC to take this building down. With her recall, she can go path here, she can go there and join the main pack, or you can just send her with the main pack to destroy this ricochet cannon. I think this is mostly important. This one, it can wait. You'll have to see how it works. But for now, your main focus is this ricochet cannon. Once that's done and the walls are open, your super bowlers are going to path inside. Your RC will be able to deal some damage on this single inferno because it's the closest defense. Or you can pop your rocket spear right now. That way she doesn't move too much and go around and get isolated and alone and maybe die from the scatter shot. Now, if you pop your ability for the RC right there, she can hit this single inferno tower, the scatter shot right here, which is going to help mitigate tons of damage for your super bowlers, and the monolith, and then after she can continue her pathing inside. So right here, it is a perfect spot for your RC charge, for your RC to pop her ability. It is going to be at the core as well with this poison tower that you want to use your warden ability. Very important. You want to alternate either your warden ability or your rage spell. It's you to decide. You don't want to use rage spell and eternal tome at the same time. No, this is really bad. It's not going to be the best value as possible because you can alternate them. The rage spell is basically to do as much damage as possible, but also to heal your troops as much as possible as well during a lot of burst damage. That's why it's not a good idea, or you lose a lot of value when you're using the eternal tome and the rage spell at the same time. What I would recommend is that because this is a very heavy hitting area, you want to use your eternal tome. That way your healers gets healed, your ballers also gets healed, and after when it falls, use your rage spell on top of your healers with your super bowlers, and they will continue and destroy all those buildings around. While that's happening, your king can also use his ability to open up these compartments, and then after, all that is left is those buildings at the back, which you can easily take down with your RC still alive, your super bowlers, and a rage spell if needed, if you still have it, which I would recommend. After, it's all about beating the clock, and that's why you need to have some wizards. So let's say a wizard could be there, a wizard could be there, there. It all depends where you want to place them. Maybe an archer right there as well, because your super bowlers need a lot of cleanup. They're very slow once the core is destroyed because they walk slowly, and when they throw, I mean, it's not the slowest attack, but it's kind of slow, you know, it's not the fastest. So to help you, you want to have as much cleanup as possible with the wizard. So once that's done, it's basically to beat the clock, and that's it. The RC charge and the kill squad is a pretty long setup, but for this attack, since the super bowlers can destroy the core quite fast, then there's no need to really use the fireball because they'll be frail afterwards. They won't have a good protection. Maybe in the next update, the fireball will be viable, but for now, this is more viable. This approach is more viable. And as you can see, unlike the attack with the throwers that I've showcased beforehand, movement where I send my throwers in the middle where I do a fireball on one side, and on the other corner I send my kill squad so that everything concentrates in the middle, in the core. I've decided that, well, technically they go in the core, but they're not sandwiched with both values. They kind of go on the side. And don't forget, with the log launcher, kill squad, they might also get that value, meaning that your super bowlers might go on the side, which this is also good because it can mitigate a lot of damage. That being said, very easy. RC charge, next to your RC charge, kill squad with only your queen. And then after, you need to create a little bit of funnel for your main push, and especially for your king to do some good cleanup. Your ice golem to tank, and you need to save that earthquake ability. Very important to save that king's ability. You can use it early or you can use it later, but always be able to save and alternate between the jump spell and your earthquake boot. You don't want to use your earthquake boots or your jump spell at the same area. You lose basically either an ability and 2 spaces of spells, which this is not good for this attack. That being said, very simple, very powerful. They're glass cannon, but with this approach where they take least damage as possible, it is very good. That being said, let's jump into the attack. So for this attack, I'm going to showcase the attack in 1x speed, and afterwards I'm going to go for the commentary to explain what's happening. So if you want to skip this part, I'm going to show the time where you can skip, therefore you can go to the explanation right away. So for the attack, it's going to be very simple. It's going to be the RC charge to take out a certain part of the base. That way it's going to funnel for your kill squad with your queen. And then after, with the Yetis inside, it's going to destroy like certain compartments, maybe inside here or maybe here as well. Because this area, let's say, is going to be destroyed by the RC. Then after, you're going to path your main push right there with the super bowlers around the base, destroying the core as well. And after, you're going to send like some few wizards on the side to do some cleanups to accelerate the attack. So let's jump into the attack. So a quick RC charge, I've sent her here, I planned it around. And once I have a little bit of time, I'm going to send a baby dragon to create a small funnel, not only for my kill squad, but also for my main push so that they don't strip on the side, even though the kill squad would destroy those buildings around. It's just going to help for the funnel, just in case. Now I think that's some pretty good value. All this compartment is completely gone. Unfortunately, I lost my Spirit Fox. It's a little bit of my fault because I didn't double cycle, or I just used my invisibility very poorly. But other than that, as long as Marcy is recalled and safe and still with her ability, everything's fine. Now I'm going to send my kill squad this way. The giant arrow is going to target those buildings, hopefully. My log launcher is going to open up those compartments, and my Yetis will be able to take down this area. That way it's going to create a better pathing for your main push. Now here I use the wall breaker just to make it more easy for my ice golem and my giant to go inside. That way, let's say the log launcher opens up, of course, the compartment. It doesn't get targeted by the giant cannon if it's very close to either the ice golem or the giant, meaning it could take some hits. I don't want that, so just in case, I'll just open the compartment, put the ice golem so that it takes the tanking. And then after I place a skeleton spell, I could have waited a little bit for the skeleton spell because it's mainly for this geared up defense. But other than that, this is a perfect kill squad. I send a Yeti down there so that way my bowlers doesn't go on the side of my king or other troops. I want them to go inside this compartment. Right now, the Yetis have come out of the log launcher and it's going to destroy this area. And during that time, I'm going to send my ice golem with my main push. I'm going to send the wall breaker. It's going to open this compartment, and then after they can path inside all around. I could have sent my king on this extra pump, but here it's totally fine. It's just that there it's just going to be faster for the king to go inside. But that's just like a small quality of life change. I've seen that Marcy was getting low, so I used my ability for the Green Warden to keep her ability. And then after, once she's reaching this area, I'm going to pop her ability. That way she can reach far and doesn't get too much into those fire right here and die very fast. You want the bowlers to at least take a little bit of thinking with the king. And then after, once they push in, the king can use his ability and open up more compartments. Now I decided to use my king ability near the end. I think that's a very good value because it opens the last compartment with buildings inside. Now here I send some wizards to do some cleanup to help and speed up the attack. And then after it's basically over. Like I still have 2 bowlers, which is more than enough. I still have my king alive. I still have my warden alive. I still have my RC alive. This space was completely crushed. Even though the super bowlers are very frail, they do so much damage. And with the next update, they're just going to be really good. That might be like a meta attack as well. That was the attack. As you can see, with this strategy, without sending my super bowlers directly in the core centers between the 2 values, that way like they don't spread in the middle at the core, which they tend to die really fast, even under the Eternal Tome. By putting them at a very specific pathing where they won't really scatter around, where the healers will have an easier time to keep them alive, they just deal so much damage, they get so much value, they're really strong, and honestly, next update, they'll be usable, and I feel like a lot of people will use them because it is very strong. Now, I know that Dragon, Hydra, Clone, Blimp, even Root Raiders, they're the strongest attack, they're very meta, but I feel like if people people want to learn a new strategy, super ballers, they're very uncommon, but they're very strong. Do not underestimate them. In conclusion, I'll be honest, I had a little bit difficulty trying to figure out how to approach with the super ballers, but I feel like with this strategy, it is very strong because you're not only mitigating a lot of damage, but you're creating a very safe pathing for your bowlers. That means that they don't spread inside the core or they don't go in any directions and get hit by every defenses around. Now obviously, if they're in the core, they can deal a lot of damage, but that's technically on paper. But on practice, they die very fast. So by creating a linear path for them, as you can see in the example, they just destroyed the base quite fast and very efficiently as well. And as you can see, even if the core was still up with the Town Hall and few fire spitters, where it was very strong, with the rage spell, the bowlers are able to keep not only their pathing, but they can destroy those buildings across the wall and they just continue on their pathing. It is that good, it is that strong. Honestly, yeah, super bowlers, they're pretty good, they're pretty solid. Next update, it's going to be very viable. So that's it for the guide. I hope you guys enjoyed it. If you enjoyed this content with those in-depth guides, make sure to like and subscribe, and I'll see you guys in the next guide.